Pantry, and today I'm gonna make rice pudding. And this is a great dish for fall. I was gifted some apples and they're absolutely delicious. They're so juicy and sweet and tart all at the same time. I thought, I can make a delicious, decadent rice pudding and utilize some of these apples. So that's what I'm gonna do. I pre-cooked my rice. I use arborio rice and I pre-cooked it in half and half with about 2 tablespoons of butter. And I did that in this multi-cooker from Tupperware. It cooks rice beautifully in the microwave. On high for 5 minutes at 90% power, and then, so drop it down to 90% power for 5 minutes, and then 15 more minutes at 60% power. So let me bring you in and show you all the elements. It's super easy, it's delicious, it's old-fashioned, and everybody loves it. So come on in. So in this pan, I have 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to add, I don't know if this spatula will fit, but I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. This is where the sugar is gonna come from, other than the topping. So, that goes down. Oh, this just reminds me of the holidays and fall and all those comfort things. My mom used to make this for us. And this and baked apples in the fall are my favorite and take me back home. All right, so that can of sweetened condensed milk, the 2 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna go ahead with a, well, let's get a measure. Want to? This is a 1/4 cup measuring cup, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put in a cup of half and half. So I cooked 1½ cups of arborio rice with 3 cups of half and half. So we're gonna get this on the stove and heat this up. And then we're gonna get moving on the rest of the recipe. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the butter and the milk and the condensed sweet milk, or the half and half and the sweetened condensed milk is coming up to temperature here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just get some fresh nutmeg down in here. And you want fresh, freshly grated, about 1/4 of, oh my gosh, that is gonna be so delicious. About 1/4 of a whole nutmeg. And then I'm gonna go ahead with a little bit of apple pie spice, a ½ teaspoon of that. And that's just gonna give it another layer of fall flavors. So, now that we've got that down, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a measure of some raisins. What? Yes, raisins. It's not bread pudding without raisins, right? So, we're gonna go ahead with a good, healthy amount. Here's a ½ cup, and we'll do a whole cup of raisins. And these are dark raisins. You can use a combination of golden and dark, if you like, but I wanna use the dark raisins for this because I want them to show up. So they're gonna plump up in that milk mixture, and I'm gonna turn my burner down a little bit. I don't wanna scorch anything. And I can already smell everything's coming to life. Now I've got about 2 cups of apples with some, oh, what's that stuff called? I'm gonna use about half of it in this, and the rest will be for the topping. And I'll show you. So, okay, now I believe we are ready for my rice mixture. Oh, okay. Let's see what we got here. So you can see this is pretty starchy. Arborio rice is the perfect rice, in my opinion, for this, just because of the amount of starch, and it makes it creamy, but the texture is unbelievable. Just like, you know, when you have risotto, how creamy it is, but yet it still gives you plenty of texture. So this rice kind of, you know, had some lumps sticking together. So it's, as it heats up, it will separate, and that's what we want. And this is going to be enough dessert for probably 6 to 8 people, depending on how hungry they are. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to continue to get this heated through, and I'll show you what happens next. Okay, so it's come up to a nice simmer, bubble. I want to cook this for about 10 minutes, just like this, keeping an eye on it so it doesn't stick or scorch. It's absolutely, and it breaks up all the rice. And the rice, Arborio rice, takes a little bit longer than regular rice. So if you were making a risotto, it would take about 30 minutes. So it's just, you know, like an al dente, and this will continue to let it swell, but still keep its integrity. So we know that we have a rice pudding when it's all said and done. And I want those apples nice and tender so they can distribute their flavor throughout the dish as well. So, this is gonna be good. At the very end, when I turn the heat off, I am going to add vanilla extract as well as a caramel extract. So it's almost like a caramel apple pie. And the topping will be just as decadent. All right, so this has gone for about 10 minutes. And now you can see how thick it's getting. That's perfect. We want it to be just like that. And then as it cools, it's going to, the starches are going to grab onto everything and even thicken up further. I did add a pinch of kosher salt to that. Now I've turned the burner off, and I'm going to let it sit before I put it in my containers. I'm going to let it come down to about room temperature. Then I will put it in some ramekins and put it in the refrigerator. And I'll show you that when I do that, and then we'll make the sauce. Okay, now that it's kind of starting to cool down a little bit and tighten up, I'm gonna go ahead and add my vanilla extract. And this is pure vanilla extract. 1 teaspoon of that, and a teaspoon, heaping teaspoon of the caramel extract. It's an imitation flavoring. If I had vanilla bean, I would put a vanilla bean in there, but I haven't been able to find any lately, so I'm hoping when the holidays come around a little closer, I will be able to get to some fresh vanilla beans. So, oof, look at that. You want to put that in after you take it off the fire so it doesn't all evaporate and go away. You want the flavor to stay in there. So, it's still pretty hot, but I didn't want you to miss out on what I'm doing. And oh my gosh, I've already had a nibble of this, and it is, oh, so good. And my mom used to serve this warm after dinner. Oh, yum, look at that. Big fat raisin in there. Ooh, hot raisin. Oh. And I can taste the vanilla and the caramel now. Perfect. Oh my gosh. I hope you try this because it is so good. So now it's going to go into some containers and go in the fridge. Okay, I've got some cute little ramekins. I'm just going to fill these for you, and then we'll go from there. Now, you can spray your ramekin so it comes out easy, or you can serve them right in the ramekin, and that's probably what I'll do. If you want to get them out of the mold, like a mold, if you want to get them out of here, go ahead and spray with some non-stick spray or lightly butter them. But leave enough room for the topping. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm super excited. Can you tell? And I'm not even really a sweets eater, but I do like this. I don't think it's as syrupy sweet as some desserts can be. But it's sure a nice dessert to have, you know, right around fall and in front of the fireplace. in the evening watching a good movie. Okay, let's get that cleaned up. And nice. Okay. So, just like that, get those apples and raisins in there. And each one, I'm gonna have plenty for probably 8 of these little ramekins, which is nice. I'll take some up to my daughter and they can have dessert tonight. And there you go. All right, so now what I want you to do, if you're gonna make this, is you take a piece of saran wrap and you go ahead and put it right down on top of the rice pudding and kind of smash it in there. Otherwise it can form a skin on there and you don't want that. Nobody likes pudding skin. Well, I don't know, some people do, but I don't want pudding skin on here. So kind of press it down, get all the air bubbles out of there, and that's how we do it. These are gonna go in the refrigerator for a couple of hours until we're ready to top them with the delicious warm apple topping. All right, so I've got my, this was the jar that was kind of scant on the filling. The other, I had 3 other ones that I filled all the way up, plus those other 4 ramekins. So it's definitely dessert for 8. You could do these in smaller portions too. This is a half pint. So what I did was I went around the jar because it tightens right up. I went around the jar and we'll see if I can get that. So this isn't the prettiest presentation because it was, you know, it was in a smaller portion. It's not packed down in there like the other one. So I've got my sauce here and that thickened up really nicely. And you're just gonna put a spoonful of that right down over the top, hot, and oh, so good. Oh my goodness. Doesn't that look delicious? Absolutely delicious. Who doesn't want that for dessert? It just screams fall, in my opinion. Okay, so it's time for the taste test. And here we go. And it just firms right up, as you can see. Yum. Look at that. So focus, 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 focus. Yummy. Big fat raisins. So the apple, caramel, brown sugar topping with the crunch of the almonds. And I didn't add any more. I mean, I added almonds to that, but I'm not putting any dried almonds on the top of this. The inside is creamy and decadent. It's not overly sweet, believe it or not. It's really not overly sweet, but I can taste that caramel extract as well as the vanilla. It is delicious. Absolutely delicious. Oh my gosh, okay, I have to stop. So if you're in for, you're kind of in the mood for a decadent fall dessert, let me just tell you, this is it. All right, guys. I can't wait to see you next time for another delicious recipe. And as fall starts to unwind, I will be ramping it up. We're gonna have tons of dishes you can use over the holidays and any time of the year, but comfort food is coming up. All right, guys. See you next time.